Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast about all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today we are talking the best alternate versions of comic book and pop culture characters. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Ken Brown.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
That was a really weird sound.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
You're drinking a milkshake, Ken?
Yes, no, it's like I'm trying to still download the Discord to my computer at the same time. So maybe like it may be kind of a ticking off Discord or something. I don't know.
Well, we got a super fun topic for tonight. Of course, before we dive in it, just want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. If you do enjoy the podcast, share on social media, tell your friends about it. And another thing I want to kind of bring up to kind of help promote some more engagement here. If you have any ideas on something you'd like to hear us talk about on Nightcap Chat.
Yeah, it's Microsoft. Like,
it's distracting.
It's almost like Dark Side coming.
I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, if you have any ideas of a topic you'd like to hear us talk about on a future episode of Nightcap Chat, hit us up on social media. You can message us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We're at Nightcap Chat or at Nightcap_chat on Instagram. And we also got some stickers in. I'm not sure how I'm going to distribute them. But we do have some
out to customers.
Okay, yes. Ken has a handful. So if you're local to the Phoenix area, stop by Adrena Comics and you're welcome to a sticker while supplies last. Because I think I gave them 40. I'm not really sure how many. But the stickers came out great. I was really happy with the quality from Print Runner there. I'll definitely be ordering more stickers from them in the future. So, we got a fun topic tonight. Lance came up with this, actually, while we were kind of spitballing different things. Anybody want to take a stab and go first? Because I know what I want to do first.
Go for it, dude.
You go for it.
All right. It's I'm not going to say this is abstract, but it's very specific. Now, I think when people take over the mantles of superheroes, sometimes it could just be really lame. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's lame. The instance that I am going to bring up, I tried to find a comic book counterpart to this happening, and I didn't see anything in the exact same way this happened. Okay. But this is something that happened in Batman the Animated Series, right? Now, I think it's a pretty legitimate concept because, this is the series that gave us Harley Quinn, right? Which was one of the most popular DC characters ever. So there were some later episodes. I don't know if it was Batman the Animated Series or The World's Finest episodes or whatever. But there was a little story arc where Bruce Wayne disappeared and Gotham was unprotected. And Superman put on Batman's costume. And some of Batman's rogues gallery were plotting to do something to Gotham City. And there was Bane, the Mad Hatter, Riddler, maybe Poison Ivy too, but at least those three. But, they're getting ready to unleash their plan, and Batman comes, but they don't know it's Superman. So he's using his Superman powers, and he's just totally demolishing them. And he bends metal around the Riddler, and Mad Hatter's trying to run away, and he just super speeds to the other side. He's like, Curiouser and Curiouser, and he just whoops Bane. So what does that do to Batman's persona, from the villain's perspective, that all of a sudden Batman is doing all these things? Wow, it really questions, what Batman is capable of, so I just thought from that angle, it was really unique.
Also throws the scent off of it, maybe being Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely.
Bruce Wayne can't do that.
You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Instead of just a guy who's just maybe good at fighting. And what a weird, like, I don't know, like that's so, it's kind of funny because it almost makes Batman look like, you know what I mean? Like you're a great detective, but like Superman just destroyed everyone that you deal with on a daily basis in like 5 seconds.
It's like, just makes the Superman game like at 110% when he's in a Batman suit versus Bruce Wayne in a Batman suit. Yeah. But it's that's it too. Like when Batman, I think the main advantage he'd have over Superman in that type of thing is just the detective skills. Like Superman would have no clue what to be looking for. Like if someone was like the Riddler messing with Superman in a Batman outfit.
Yeah. True, but at the same time, Superman has X-ray vision and can probably see like, through everything.
Exactly.
Where's Riddler?
Where's Riddler? Right there.
Oh, I see the answer to the riddle in your pocket, Riddler.
Yeah, good thing he's not like has telekinetic powers too. Well,
that'll be when they reboot Superman again. So
finds next.
So that was my one DC one. So I just kind of wanted to get that one out of the way. So who's next?
Gosh, dude, I've got like quite a few. Do you want to go first, Lance, or do you want me just to dive in?
You can dive in, Ken. It's fine.
Okay. Because when I was kind of thinking about like what you were saying, I was digging like super deep into thoughts on it, and I never try to make anything simple like I should for life. But I was kind of thinking about someone that is like totally different once they change their identity, correct? Or is it something that you just want to be a totally different person, resuming the same identity as somebody else?
I would say, I guess either, right?
Because this really popped in my head as like something like so drastically different when it comes to fans' perceptions of this character, but it's the same person the whole time.
Okay.
And the first person I was thinking of is Anakin Skywalker. Like when he's Anakin, he's annoying and people can't stand him. When he's Darth Vader, he's one of the coolest villains in any franchise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't know how much of that is on the acting, but I agree.
Yeah, but like just like and it's just more or less like the storytelling of the character. Maybe you're probably right. It's just like the actors playing Anakin, but just I think it's partially script too, because they made Anakin like so whiny and so like just they did the same thing with Luke when Luke was a Skywalker.
Yeah, you're right.
Before he matured into a Jedi rather than into a Sith.
Right.
But like that Anakin Skywalker was so brooding and so indefinite about his character and what his plan was and what his mission and what his ego was, that it was just like completely opposite of Darth Vader. When he becomes Darth Vader, he's so like, this is the way things are going to be. I'm the most dominating force in the galaxy, and the only person he listens to is Palpatine. He was Anakin, he would take advice from everybody. Do you know what I mean? And like, and when he's Anakin, it's just you really can't associate, like you can't relate, or you can't really relate to Darth Vader either. Don't get me wrong, but you can't, like you can't really enjoy the character of Anakin Skywalker. But
right.
Yet Darth Vader, this guy is like nails, dude. By far one of the best supervillains in all of pop culture's history. And it's just crazy about like that, how they did such a good job of a love-hate relationship with the same character. And it's to me, that thing is like one of the best character identity turns I've ever seen in any storytell, of like a character that's so unsure and so wanting to do the right thing, into the exact opposite of, yeah, dude, it's like I'm taking over the galaxy, get in my way, and I'm just going to choke slam you out of the galaxy.
Yeah, and I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree to an extent, because I would say that I think the acting had a lot to do with it, because if you look at like Clone Wars, Anakin was a major player in the Clone Wars cartoon, and obviously it was based on Hayden Christensen, but the acting was better. I'm just gonna say it. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. Like the acting was better. So I think that kind of gave an opportunity, like especially like younger kids, to kind of like Anakin, and like him as a character. But I see what you mean, that like, he didn't answer to anyone but Palpatine. But I think, Clone Wars really expanded that even before he was Vader, he was being manipulated by the Chancellor. And he really wasn't listening to Obi-Wan and stuff, even as Anakin. Because like, all right, don't go do that, Anakin, and then you go do it anyway. So there are always those seeds that we built him to Darth Vader.
That's
so,
true.
So I would just say a little bit to Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, it's like the contrasting personalities was like. I see what you're saying. It's like that. It's something that slowly evolved, not just like night and day.
Yeah. But it's like Anakin. It's like a tragedy because why did Anakin fall to the dark side? It's like because he loved too much. He cared for his master. He cared for Padme. He cared for Padme so much he was willing to explore the dark side to find a force power to be able to save her. And that was his downfall. Yes. So that becomes hate. And rage.
He couldn't control his passions.
Yeah, it's Shakespearean almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tragedy. Skywalker Saga is the tragedy of Darth Vader.
Yeah, and he's going through puberty. Yeah.
Exactly.
What was Romeo and Juliet? It was two 13-year-olds who pretended they fell in love and got each other killed over the course of 2 days.
Which is a stupid story.
It's a stupid story, but that's Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it. It's like that because she's the forbidden love to him because he's a Jedi and she's a politician and they're not supposed to intermingle with each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, it's a very interesting contrast. Lance,
and to be fair, when Luke, started to become powerful, he was a little like full of himself.
Yeah,
for a little bit there. Like it was almost like relax, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, like when in Return of the Jedi, when he came in, like he's all masterful, thinking
he's
like the best Jedi.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna just murder everybody, and like I can't be stopped. Like, which is like, I mean, it's fine, but like he wasn't humble at all.
Well, Han said, I'm out of it for a little while. Everyone gets delusions of grandeur.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
All right, Lance, what you got?
All right. I'm having a really hard time coming up.
It doesn't have to be your favorite. Like
it's not my favorite. It's not that. I'm literally having a hard time coming with anything.
Okay.
And probably because a lot of it is there's been so many like variants, especially today, of them like rebooting and redoing characters. There's a lot of bad ones. Yes. And I think we're trying to focus on the good ones, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to weed through. But one that I feel like has a lot of like love hate, especially like after the announcement of who it was, is Red Hulk. Okay. I know some people really didn't like it. Some people liked it. Some people still like it, or some people now don't like it. Whatever. I really enjoyed the whole like lead up to like who is this person. It was kind of fun and interesting. And then the whole him taking Silver Surfer's surfboard and Terrax's axe thing, whatever you want to call it, and going to fight Galactus and just you're like, who is this man and what is he doing? Like, this is insane.
Wasn't he like so overpowered to you?
Yeah, and he was crazy, and then like he's fighting the Hulk, and he just destroys the Hulk, yes. And you're like, okay, this person's as strong as the Hulk, if not stronger, and he melts things when he gets really angry, which is a weird dynamic, and then on top of it, he's smart, like he's like somehow knows how to fight, and he knows how to use things to his advantage, and like when he's fighting Hulk underwater, he's like figured out like different ways, and he's fighting Thor, and he figures out that he can't lift his hammer, but he can like when he's in the air with it, he can like direct it, or with some crap like that, right? Where he used the momentum, used the momentum against Thor or something. It was crazy, and it was like, oh, this guy's smart, and it's Hulk strength. It was crazy.
Yes,
wasn't it he can't hit you with the hammer, but he can hit you against the hammer? Or am I getting confused with something? Am I confusing with something else? Like I can't hit you with the hammer, but I can hit the hammer with you.
Hammer away from me. Yeah.
I
think like when Thor was fighting him, didn't Thor throw the hammer at him, and he more or less caught it and throw it back at the Thor, if I remember correctly in that one little matchup between Thor and Red Hulk?
He somehow like made it hit him. He did hit him with it, but I don't remember the reasoning behind it. I think they were it had something to do with like they were in outer space.
Okay. Yes, it's been so long since I've read that. I'm trying to refresh in my head too. Everything that happened in that story was. just bizarre and insane. It was pretty cool.
It was cool. It was fun, and then it turned out to be, of course, Thunderbolt Ross, which was kind of an interesting dynamic. But I don't know. It was a character that I kind of enjoyed, and I liked reading at the time, and I thought it was fun. And I think that was wasn't that kind of this Red Hulk was kind of the beginning of Marvel starting to try to take old characters and like redo them or put a new spin, right? I want to say.
So yeah, he didn't lift it. Thor was holding onto it tight, and he jumped while holding the hammer. So Thor is holding onto the hammer, and he's holding Thor's hand in place, and he jumped with it, and then they ended up in space in zero gravity, and he pulls it out of his hand and hits him with it.
Yeah, it's insanely how intelligent General Ross was as the Red Hulk. He was just absolutely crazy, and I love when they finally revealed who he was. Do you remember his reasoning behind it? Is because he was just so arrogant to say the fact of that. Well, I'm General Ross and I can handle being the Hulk, where Bruce Banner can't. Are you serious, dude? It's like, he goes, because I knew what I was getting into, and Banner didn't. I asked to be the Hulk, and Banner didn't ask to be the Hulk.
He didn't, and he didn't want to be the Hulk, really.
But doesn't that show how weak-minded then Bruce Banner is?
Gosh, dude, I guess I don't know, because it's supposed to just pull off of his dark side of his personality, pretty much, right? The Hulk personality,
right? But like, to be fair, like, there's plenty of superheroes out there that didn't ask for superpowers. And I know for him, it's a little different. Like, he turns into this raging monster, but at the same time, all the other so a lot of like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. He handles it and does his thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a teenager, little kid that has learned how to like mentally deal with it. And a guy who's a genius.
That professor
can't understand, right? Yeah. Can't understand that, like, this is, sure, it's not fair and you don't want to do this, but like, grow up, kind of like deal with it.
Yeah, but I think part of it too is like didn't they kind of reveal it's like a multiple personality thing? So like maybe his mental issues, kind of play into it, because like when he was first hulking out, he doesn't remember it, and there's parts where like he can't control it, but like as time went on and like he like had therapy with Doc Samson or whatever, he learned to control it and actually like be conscious like within the Hulk, which is, you get Professor Hulk or Joe Fixit and stuff.
They came to peace with each other, the separate personalities.
Yeah. So there's probably like a whole mental thing. So like Ross was more mentally prepared, I guess, being a military person, and he was also able to, implement his military prowess, with all the while having the power of the Hulk, which makes him dangerous.
He deals with the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde syndrome, where, the other person can't control the other person. It's like a schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And like, once again, as you said, Doc Samson started doing the psychological thing of like, let's get both your personalities to compromise with each other, so that way not one is dominating over the other.
Yeah.
It's like with Spider-Man and Peter Parker. It's like Peter Parker is Spider-Man, all the time, and like that he can kind of control his personal emotions the same way that like Banner can't control what Hulk wants to do until they started more or less having the Doc Samson psychology take place.
Yep.
Each other.
Exactly. But yeah, no, that's a good one. I do have kind of mixed feelings. Like I like the Red Hulk thing, but like I just don't want it to come to the MCU soon, especially like before we get like a leader story and stuff. Like let's do one thing at a time before we rush and do all of our Hulks, because I think it started to get a little carried away when they made Betty Red She-Hulk. Like, where are we drawing the line? Like, it's like, you get a Hulk, you get a Hulk, you get a Hulk, and they made what's his face A-Bomb. Yeah, exactly. It just got to be a little much.
I honestly whatever, it's fine. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the whole thing, but I did like thought that it was kind of cool when she was Red She-Hulk. I don't love it, but because it was just kind of interesting, I thought.
I thought it was fascinating that they revealed it was actually Betty, time, because like Betty was, I think, wasn't she dead up to that point?
I don't remember.
And like that they explained like that Morris, I think they brought her back through the Red Hulk concept of, General Ross trying to bring back his daughter through gamma radiation treatment. I don't know how he brings someone back from the dead like that, but I'll have to reread that again too. But I'm pretty sure that was part of her comeback story, and that was the big shock surprise. Is like that. No, because she was in the Mr. Blue story where she was Mr. Blue, wasn't she? Old Bruce Jones run, and so. But all I know is like she was in hiding for a long period of time, and that was her first return to comics as a character for a while, other than being inside the Mr. Blue storyline where they revealed that Betty was Mr. Blue during the Bruce Jones run back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I didn't read any of that.
And they hinted at it a little bit inside of the movie that I think it was Ed Norton's movie, where he kept on getting the texts or the emails from the person on the computer.
Oh, yes, that's right. Mr. Blue, Mr. Green. Yeah.
Yes, and that's based off of those Bruce Jones stories back in the early 2000s.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and in the comic, Mr. Blue was Betty. I think they did in the movie, too. Wasn't it Betty in the movie as well?
No, it was the guy who becomes the leader.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like in the comic, Mr. Blue turned out being Betty, if I remember correctly.
Or MODOK.
No, it's the leader. It's the leader because it's the guy who becomes the leader.
How do you know?
Because it was whatever his name is, Stearns, right?
What if they mix the character? They've done that before.
I don't want that. Like they need to stop. We need to stop mixing characters because then you're wasting characters. Like it was bad when you did it with Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo because it was interesting that it was going to be Whiplash, but then you just made the second Iron Man movie have him fighting evil Iron Man again.
Why are we talking about this again? You're making me upset.
All right.
You gave me 3 Iron Man movies. They were all the same.
Here's another transition character that I think made better by doing the transition, but yet the character was around for so long that I think people just got so used to him being who he was that they transitioned him back because there was such a more or less an outcry for people wanting the original character back. And I like the new version of him rather than the old version. To me is like Hawkeye and Ronin. The transition from him going from being Hawkeye to a ninja Ronin that was pretty much once again like a totally reboot of his personality as the Ronin, the rogue, the brooding Ronin character.
Yeah. So are you saying you like Ronin better, or are you saying you like Hawkeye?
I like Ronin better than Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Hawkeye, it's cool, the archer side of things, but a full blasted ninja. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of fun to see the dark brooding character again from where he's transitioned into a character that he's mysterious again. Because the thing too that Hawkeye always had the knock on that he wanted to be the Captain America of the team all the time. He wanted to lead the team. He wanted to be the guy that was in charge in the comics for such a long period of time. And then when he went into Ronin mode, he was just a completely different mysterious character. They finally had to reveal who he was. I mean, the first time it was like a Maya who was Echo, but she got killed during the Secret Invasion. Then all of a sudden, who's back as Ronin? And everybody thought it was going to be Daredevil, but it would turn out being Hawkeye, and that was kind of a nice swerve and a pretty cool character until they decided like, okay, let's turn this guy back into Hawkeye now. The story's done.
Yeah, I thought that it added a lot more depth to his character.
Yes,
especially since Hawkeye's. There's nothing against Hawkeye, but his character is kind of like meh.
Yeah, that's my feeling on it too. Yeah,
it's just like, oh, it's Hawkeye. Yeah, I mean, he's an OG, like he's cool, but at the same time, it's just like you're just the side. You know what I mean? Like you're Bucky, the Bucky of the Avengers. You're cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I agree with you. I think Ronin's way better.
Yep. It's just that he looks cooler. He's, I said too, he's more of a threat than I think Hawkeye ever was to any villain that's going up against him.
And also, Old Man Hawkeye.
Yes, Old Man Hawkeye's
cooler than old. He might be the coolest one. Right? And
yeah,
he's blind, right? Yeah. And he killed everyone with his fingernails. Like,
yes.
Come on.
I know. He's badass. I mean, that's how, I said too, is like, those are Hawkeye to its potential. And that's, but I think as I said too, is like everyone loves that, that purple, blue, old school Hawkeye, and I don't quite get it. It's they keep on bringing him back to his old persona.
It would be cool if they did a Hawkeye show or movie that took place during his Ronin years in between Infinity War and Endgame, because really we skipped it.
So cool.
We skipped the whole thing. He had been Ronin. You know, like there's so many stories that can be told. Like, you know, like, oh, there's this guy who strikes. Like you do, like, it could be like a Batman thing. You know, like they call him the Ronin. You know, like this guy in black just comes and like kills
take down the Yakuza
Exactly. I don't know. There's a lot of potential. I think people would enjoy it. You know.
And what's crazy is we do know that that entire time that was going on, we know that Black Widow knew he was doing it, but did not pursue him.
Oh, to stop him.
Him. We know that because she didn't do it until they like absolutely had to, right? Mm-hmm. When they were like, okay, we need to like fix everything, and finally, so that's also another dynamic which is kind of cool, is like to see if they're, you know, that like struggle of her being like, I know it's him, but like I don't want to do that to him, because she was in that same place and he stopped her, right?
But what's he doing wrong? He's killing bad guys, right?
Yeah, but you know,
it's like going after Batman.
Yeah,
there's a line. There's always that line.
Yes, there is. All right, my next one is it's a fake one.
Okay,
but it's really fun. So I'm going to be honest. I'm really sad because this is a one issue appearance, and I always buy it, and I have a few of them. They're like in the dollar bin, and I read it before we started recording, and I was like, oh, I didn't know it was fake. But I'm going to bring it up anyway. So in Spider-Man number 25, Spider-Man is wielding the Phoenix Force on the cover.
Oh yeah.
It's a really cool cover because it's Spider-Man and he has the Phoenix Force, and it's got Excalibur, like the members of Excalibur, their heads all around it. But in this comic, it's like Nightmare and this other guy are messing with Spider-Man and Excalibur, and then Spider-Man realizes that there's something wrong with Rachel, who was the Phoenix at the time. And like Nightmare and this other guy, like they end up killing like all of Excalibur, which is really weird. So like, what's going on? And then in like you see the silhouette, and Spider-Man like drives his hand into Rachel's chest and like rips something out of it. It's like, what? So then, you know, Spider-Man comes out and he's got the Phoenix Force, and Captain Britain's all surprised. But then it turns out the members of Excalibur are all robots. And this was like a fake Phoenix Force thing. It's like a projection almost. And then the big twist, the big reveal at the end is that Arcade was behind it, which is kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
So, but man, like I would like to see Spider-Man wield the Phoenix Force, like even for a few panels. Like how cool would that be?
Do you remember when he had the Captain Universe power?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
lots of people have wielded that. I mean, that's like that's like one of the first, like, you know, mainstream alternate versions of characters, right? Is who gets the Captain Universe power, you know?
Yes. Well, I remember him punching the Hulk into space. And Hulk's like in shock up there. He's just going, "Oh crap! The kid actually kicked my butt." And he's kind of going like, well, I figure I have about maybe 3 minutes of breath air to hold up here. And then Spider-Man felt guilty, and he flies up into space and brings him back down. And then Hulk kind of tells him at the end of the story, is like, okay, I owe you one for saving my life. And I'm going, dude, you attacked me first, man. You know? It's like Spider-Man's thought process on it. It just kind of cracks me up, the Hulk. And his arrogance as the Hulk just always cracks me.
That's really funny.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
That was drawn by Todd McFarlane too. That was his last issue of Amazing Spider-Man before he went on to the regular Todd McFarlane Spider-Man series that he did for the 16 issues before he went to draw Spawn.
Interesting.
Or create Spawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's such a fun story though. I know what you mean. Those giving Spider-Man different abilities is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. They do that a lot, tend to,
Yeah.
Venom costume, cosmic. Apparently, the Phoenix Force. I didn't even know about that, to be honest.
Well, it wasn't real.
I know it wasn't real, but still,
which is really disappointing. It was really disappointing. I was so sad, but it's okay. It's still fun. It's like you can find it in like a dollar bin usually. Like just grab it just because it's just a cool concept.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man with the Phoenix Force on the cover of the book too, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes like when like fun things happen in comics, like sometimes you get a disappointing cover. You know, like, oh, you know, this is the, you know, first appearance or whatever, but it's just like a meh cover, you know.
I mean, one of my favorite, you know, I'd say for this, I guess, thing would be when Namor had part of the Phoenix Force.
Oh yes,
he was so cool. His outfit was cool. Actually, all of them, when they were all sharing the Phoenix Force, Magic and Colossus, they were also pretty cool. But when Namor was fighting, Namor was always no joke, but now he was like really no joke because he just demolished the Avengers. You know, it was great. It was a great read. And probably out of everyone that had the Phoenix Force, probably my least favorite person that had it was Cyclops.
Yes, I know.
He was just so annoying. I couldn't stand him.
Yeah. I liked Emma Frost with the.
Oh yeah, she was awesome. She looked so cool.
Yeah, that's what too. It's like the Jean Grey Emma Frost rivalry. Like
Mm-hmm.
that goes even further. Like who held the Phoenix Force more cool, Emma or Jean? And you know, Emma held her own with the Phoenix Force. I thought that was pretty cool seeing her with the Phoenix Force too.
Yeah,
because she had half of it, right, at one point.
Yeah, I think they did because every time someone else, like I guess, got defeated, the Phoenix Force would be stronger than the next person, right?
Yeah, because I think the
the
first two that went down, I want to say, was Magic and Colossus, and then I think Namor went down, and then Cyclops and Emma had half of it each, and they were like,
didn't they fight each other for the final?
I think they did. They fought each other, and then Cyclops had it by himself, I want to say, right? And then took on the Avengers or something, if I remember correctly.
And then, like, wasn't the whole thing too like he killed Professor X during that story?
Yes, that's how the story started.
Like, oh my gosh, it's like then it's that shock treatment. Like I can't remember. Like, is that what finally forced him to give up the Phoenix Force at that time? Because that's what changed the era of the X-Men, of Cyclops defeating Professor X, right?
Well, didn't they have? I don't know if I'm getting my stories confused now. Wasn't Hope involved in that, stopping him?
Maybe it was, yeah, because Hope is like looks like a natural vessel for the Phoenix Force, right?
Yeah, because you have to be a redhead to get to use the Phoenix Force. I think that's what the Phoenix Force tries to
So Mary Jane should have just brought her over.
I would like to see that. Mary Jane is the Phoenix.
No.
Yeah.
And just in a what if.
Yeah. Like, what if Mary Jane like dressed up as Phoenix for Halloween and the Phoenix Force thought it was really her?
Oh my gosh. That does sound like a what if. On this particular Halloween.
Mary Jane decided to be her favorite the Phoenix.
The Phoenix Force got confused. And then she goes on some wacky adventures.
I know. It's just the Phoenix Force is just like trolling the galaxy, waiting for someone to dress up as a redhead in the Phoenix suit. You know what I mean? It's like, what is this thing? A stalker? The Phoenix Force is such the creepy stalker. No one's ever really touched on that.
That's really funny. So my next one, I think is just something like we have to bring up. We have to bring up this alternate version of this character, because this alternate version of this character has pretty much, like, nowadays become like the definitive version of this character. Okay. And do you know where I'm going with this? No. Okay.
No.
So
go ahead.
So this alternate version of this character was so popular, they used it in the movies and essentially retconned him and made him join the 616. And that is Ultimate Nick Fury.
Oh, absolutely.
Who was based on Samuel L. Jackson. And like, that's what the artists and everyone said. Like, I modeled him after Samuel L. Jackson, and as Samuel Jackson said, like, I want to play him. I literally, in the comic book panels, in the Ultimates, they were having a conversation talking about who should play everyone. And it's like, oh, Samuel L. Jackson, hands down, no question about it. You know, they went on to cast, I think, Brad Pitt as Captain America, Johnny Depp as Iron Man. And then my favorite.
That's a horrible casting.
Yes, right. I mean, I love Johnny Depp, but I can't imagine him as Iron Man.
No way.
But my favorite was Steve Buscemi as Bruce Banner, and like he gets mad. He gets all butthurt about it and leaves. But I mean, then they cast him and he was perfect, obviously. And now we've got Nick Fury Jr. right in the 616. So I mean, Ultimate Nick Fury. I mean,
you can't go wrong with that. I mean, And at first I thought it was like, I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I feel like it just like the character changed so much. I was wondering like how everyone was going to receive it when it first happened. And then it just seems like now it just seems like normal. Like at first, like when they completely change a character, you're like, this is weird. But now, like I was even playing the Marvel Avengers game.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury's obviously in it. And it was Samuel Jackson's, Nick Fury. And I was like, oh, it's original Nick Fury. I literally thought in my mind, oh, it's original Nick Fury. And I was like, wait, now I'm confused. Wait, no, it's not. I was so confused. But yeah, it's such a good character.
It was definitely better than David Hasselhoff's turn at Nick Fury there.
Yes.
Yes, that was a rough movie.
For those of you who don't know, the first live action Nick Fury was played by David Hasselhoff. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wasn't that the name of the movie? Gosh,
like, was it a TV movie, wasn't it?
Was it? I know it's a movie. I don't know if it was a TV. It seems like it.
They did have Hydra though, and Viper was in it. We haven't had Viper.
Well, she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., wasn't she?
I don't. Was she?
I think so. I think so.
I stopped watching. After like.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I did not finish watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. either.
I didn't either.
That I have not finished yet.
Got dragged out a little bit.
Ken, do you have another one? Alternate Mars reality planet. I was going, what is going on here? Why are they on this alternate Mars thing? I don't get this. Stopped watching around that time. Did you see that when they were stuck on that? Oh no, that alternate dimension world where it's like the red. I want to say it was Mars, but maybe it wasn't Mars.
I stopped watching. I stopped watching when they were doing the whole Inhumans thing where they found like the Inhuman camp. And then, I don't know, I think Coulson touched the Terror block or whatever it was. And that was the last episode I watched. I don't know what happened.
Okay. There's a lot of madness that happened in that show. I mean, I said too, I have to go watch everything that's happened, but it was kind of going off the rails a little bit for a while. But people told me it ended strong, so I have to, I guess, go finish the last 3 seasons or whatever.
I don't know. I might just watch the last season and call it a day because I missed way too much. You know what it was? I started missing some, and I was like, I'll get to it. And then the Inhumans, was coming out, and I was so excited. And then once that bombed, I was like, well, I have no reason to watch this anymore. So I just didn't bother.
It's like everything it was setting up failed.
Right. So why am I going to waste my time?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like the last cool thing I remember that I liked out of it was the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. I thought they did a good job with.
And I'm sure they did. But I love Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, and I was just super annoyed that they skipped like every other Ghost Rider and went right to a Ghost Rider that was like first appearance in like a 2014 comic.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why we skipped all this Ghost Rider history.
To try to spread it. Well, yeah, they kind of teased, I think, like the one Ghost Rider giving him his powers, right?
I did. I looked up that clip online, and yes, that was cool. So that does make me feel a lot better, and now I'm much more open to going back because it acknowledges that he was not the first one. Because that's all I wanted. Like I wanted to see Johnny Blaze and hell, like even like Danny Ketch,
Exactly. Yeah, just get like a whole history of Ghost Rider. I mean, people are so excited about Moon Knight. I go, dude, why don't you do a Ghost Rider TV series? Because you can have, 4 to 6 seasons developing of Ghost Rider characters there.
Yeah. Just do a Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
Yeah. That can lead into like a Marvel's Night events. Ghost Rider, Blade, Moon Knight, Morbius, Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Midnight Suns, the TV series.
Exactly. Hannibal King. Not played by Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Which was really just his Deadpool audition. Like he turned his Hannibal King role into just, like I'll do this, but like I'm just gonna be Deadpool and I'm gonna wear a red shirt.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
It was entertaining.
What?
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
So
off the rails. Who's got another one?
I have another one.
Okay.
So mine is, I guess it's kind of, a variation of a character. And this one's just because like it went from like one universe to another.
Oh, okay.
And it's Angela.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's one of my favorite characters. I've read every Marvel comic of hers.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And I just heard the dynamic of her character is so awesome, and how they kind of brought like her universe into the Marvel universe with the whole heaven is now another realm, and there isn't 9 realms, now there's 10 realms, and there was one that was hidden away by Odin, and now, I love how the comics also, by the way, as like time goes on, Odin's like one of the worst characters in Marvel history. Like he's like a scumbag. Like he's like done all this horrible stuff, and we still think of him as like a good guy for some reason, but he's probably one of the biggest villains in Marvel history.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I love Angela. Like, she's so great. She's so cool. When you first see her, she's beating up Thor, and you're like, "Who is this chick?" And then it turns out she's half angel, half Asgardian, and the angels, their whole dynamic of for every 100 or every 1,000 women are born, one man's born or something. So the men don't fight; the men stay and like worship at their like little like temple thing, and the women are the ones that go out fighting. It's just such a cool, just love the whole story. Everything's great about it.
Yeah. First appearance was at Age of Ultron number 10, right? For a first Marvel appearance.
Yes, I have like 85 of those.
Nice, dude.
How many of them are out of their blind bag?
I have like 10 that are in blind bags, and then I have like 3 of them that are like the Mark Brooks variants that are in the blind bag.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So you don't have
Mark
any.
Brooks stuff is amazing.
Yeah. Do you have any that are out of the blind bag?
Yeah, I have some that are out of the blind bag.
Okay.
Because when I read that whole series, like before, like knowing that she was to come out, because I read Age of Ultron and everything.
Yeah.
So I had that beforehand, and then I was like, Angela, and because she's like the last page, and you're like, what is this? Like, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, she's this whole new character. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. And I said too, it was like Neil Gaiman getting so mad at Todd. Oh, not mad, but just winning the lawsuit over the rights to the character, because I said too, it was originally created to be a Spawn character.
Yeah.
And Spawn number 9, and she was supposed to hunt down spawns.
I have some of those too.
The angels did.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, Todd, I said too, to kind of settle the suit, he killed her off in issue number 100. And so it purely became Neil Gaiman's character to do whatever he wanted with it. Ironically, Marvel had the foresight. Hey, what do you have any idea what you want to do with that Angela character? And we're interested. I think it was Joe Quesada that approached him about it, or how did that whole come to be?
I don't know the story, and I'm
interest in Angela.
I'm genuinely curious how that happened, because it just seems like such a crazy idea. Like, let's take your Image character and put him into, and it's not even just like a different version. It's just straight up, okay, here is Angela. It's not like Venom and Spawn or something. Like it is like the same exact character.
Yeah, like I don't think that's happened since, Shazam, when DC Comics bought Fawcett Comics and Charlton Comics, I guess too, with the Blue Beetle and Captain Atom, and and the Peacemaker and some of those characters that DC bought but they bought the rights to the whole company, not just the character being transferred over from another universe into a completely different universe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome how Angela set the precedent for that happening in comic book creation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shows you if you have enough money, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
From what I read after that whole legal battle between them, it looks like Neil Gaiman was returning to Marvel Comics, and he wanted to bring Angela with him.
Oh, okay. So that's cool.
And that legal battle with McFarlane and Gaiman was
pretty rough.
From what this says, on Wikipedia, that's a rough league. That's some messed up stuff.
Yeah. I'm a huge Todd McFarlane fan, but that got ugly between the two of them for a while.
Yeah.
It was like that's the whole point of Image Comics in the first place, is to create characters that you own the rights to. And then, unfortunately, Todd wrapped Angela so much into Spawn that Neil's like, hey, dude, it's like I can't do with my character what I want to do anymore because you integrated her so much into your storytell. I can't use my creative freedom with my own character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then Todd's pretty much like, this is, it's a Spawn character then. It's not even your character. It's like, that's not the whole point of Image, Image's whole point is create her own characters and do what you want with your character the way that you want it to be done.
It makes you wonder if there was like a miscommunication somewhere, I don't know. There's always different sides of different things. Yeah. I mean, like, I think they're both awesome.
There's also there's always three sides to the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's right.
As I said too, is like Todd's a great, he's I said too, like I have no ill will towards Todd McFarlane in that at all.
No, he's awesome.
I can understand that's like that's between Todd and Neil, but it's pretty nasty for a while.
Yeah, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's business. Anyway,
I've got two more really quick what if ones. If anyone else wants to throw something in before I touch on those.
Can I throw in like another character that's kind of a little bit like that Darth Vader Anakin?
Yeah.
But where the character improved tenfold by switching over from a tragic moment.
Can I guess what it's going to be?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Bucky.
I'm thinking Jason Todd.
Okay, same thing. That was DC's Bucky.
It's Marvel's Jason Todd is Bucky.
Yeah.
Like where Jason Todd being like once again the sidekick to Batman, the same way Bucky was to Captain America. Unfortunately, the major failure in Batman's career was letting Jason Todd get brutalized and killed by the Joker.
Mm.
And then, the Robin that had all the, do you know what I mean? Like that, more or less the most arrogant Robin there ever was. And for him to get killed off and you think he's dead. And then, the hint of it being discussed during Hush of, the Riddler messing with Batman's head, making part of the plot, thinking that Jason Todd's actually still alive, into the fact of Jason Todd actually is alive because Judd Winnick loved what Jeff Loeb did in that story so much. Hush, He pitched an idea and Jeff Loeb said, "Yeah, go for it, man." It's like because he wanted Jeff to write the story because he felt he created the possibility for Jason Todd coming back as a different character, and Jeff Loeb liked Judd Winnick's idea so much, just run with it, man. I don't need to write it. And Judd Winnick came up with the Red Hood idea because, he was killed by the Joker. So why not take on a moniker that was always reflective of how his life came to its first end?
Yeah.
And it's such a amazing character of how he's almost a better Batman than Batman is himself in some ways in Gotham City.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it absolutely does.
He's the Punisher of Gotham City more than Batman is.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
He's like, he took down, the whole drug trade. He took over the drug trade in Gotham City within like 3 months from Black Mask because he told more or less like that, hey, you work for me now. What do you mean you work for me? It's like either I kill you or you work for me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And instead of like just, more or less trying to stop, he knew he couldn't stop the drug trade in Gotham City, but he could take control of it. And the rule he had, which is very cool to stay to the truth of who Jason Todd was as a runaway kid, is that you can deal to any stupid adult you want, but you can't deal to kids. If I catch you dealing to kids, I'll kill you. And it was such a cool dynamic of remembering who Jason Todd was before he died and then trying to protect kids from going down that same path he had to go through.
Wow.
And it was just such a more in-depth character, in my opinion, of like Bruce Wayne obviously is, the forefather of Gotham City. It's like the tragic kid that had something happen to his parents and he had to deal with it and become Batman. But like Jason Todd too, like being raised by parents that were criminals in the first place, it's such a good alter balance of whose idea is best for Gotham City, Jason's or Bruce's. It's just such a great dynamic and a great rivalry inside of Gotham City. But Red Hood is 10 times cooler than Robin ever could be.
Absolutely. And it's a shame, that the modern DC movies, like they can't like, they're having a hard time focusing on their Batman stories, that like we don't have time to develop Robins and then go into characters like Nightwing and the Red Hood. Because if you sat there and you planned like, maybe a Batman trilogy or two, with 3 Justice League crossovers, you can do Jason Todd's story integrated into that, have him become the Red Hood, and like you could have a really cool interconnected DC universe. I mean, you know, and you know, spoiler alert for Birds of Prey. You know, if you had Black Mask in there too, you could have done that story, because Ewan McGregor was great as Black Mask, and I don't understand why they took a character like that just to kill him. Like, it's unacceptable. Like,
well, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how many Batman movies have been done and there's no Robins.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Marvel did Captain America, had Bucky in it, obviously, because it was the beginning, and then again had Bucky in it with him being the Winter Soldier, and like they were able to do, like, you guys should be doing that too. It's Robin's, it's his right hand man. Like,
and we only
it's almost
had,
like not having
is it Chris O'Donnell? Is it Chris O'Donnell? Chris O'Donnell? Like, he was really the only person to really play Robin on the big screen, right? Nobody else has been Robin, right?
Yeah, except Burt Ward.
Okay. Yeah. I guess there was a Batman movie, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of that's the old, you know, tongue-in-cheek comedy Batman.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. I mean, gosh, what's his name? Ben Affleck. He did have a reference to Robin. We did see a suit, but like never came to fruition. You know, unfortunately.
It's just kind of, it's not one of those characters that you're like, oh, look, there's a tease of him. Like, that's just something you do.
Yeah.
The Joseph Gordon-Levitt, they kind of did that whole thing of him kind of being an unofficial Robin in that last Batman.
That was weird.
Movie.
I didn't like that.
Like, and I'm going, we're not going to really call him Robin. We're going to give him a name that associates with Robin. Wasn't his name like Jason or Richard or something like that at the end of the movie?
His name was Robin at the end of the movie. He was
it Drake? His last name was
Blake.
Drake or something? Blake. Okay.
He was Blake, who, from what I understand, I believe is just a different character from the comics, like Detective Blake. And then he says, like, just call me by my nickname, Robin, or something at the end, something like that. It was
what?
Like, what? That's it? Like, that's your nickname or your middle name? Is that your please?
And the guy was an orphan himself, he revealed.
No, give me a break. That was lame. An unceremonious,
all different Robin stories.
Unceremonious send off to the you know, Christopher Nolan trilogy there.
Yeah,
unfortunately. I know I've talked about a Nightcap chat before. Like, I love what ifs. What if comics are so much fun. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter because they just exist. You know, one of them I won't spend too much time because I've mentioned this what if before, and it's a what if Fantastic Four. It's an alternate Fantastic Four team, and the team consists of Spider-Man, Wolverine, Ghost Rider. Oh my gosh, and Hulk. Yeah. And their alternate story takes place during Infinity Gauntlet. So nice. Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's chilling there with Mephisto, and they're the Fantastic Four and trying to figure out what to do. And he's got the Infinity Gauntlet there. So kind of uncharacteristically, Wolverine kind of starts telling Thanos like, "Oh, your right hand man is like the master of lies, huh, Mephisto, huh?" And he's like, "Huh, you're right." So Thanos kills Mephisto, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And then Wolverine starts like consulting Thanos on like all these things to do, and everyone's like upset that Wolverine's like betraying the Fantastic Four and stuff. And while Thanos isn't paying attention, he just cuts the gauntlet off his arm, and that's it. Which it's a little too cunning for Wolverine, I think, like for him to think through that like that. But it's a really fun story. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, what ifs are the best. Taking different story arcs and then turning them into like something that they could never do with their mainstream storytelling, but sure it's fun to imagine. Like, hey, what if it ended this way? It's such good storytelling to what ifs. I think they're how would you say it? Fun candy, or like kind of popcorn type of storytelling for the superhero.
Yeah, it's just something fun to think about, talk about, read about.
Yes.
I stopped by Drona Comics earlier this week, and I found this, Ken. I don't know if you noticed this that that I bought this. I don't know if you checked me out or if Susan did.
I did this time. Yeah.
But I got What If Magic #1, Series 3. So it's What If Magic Sorcerer Supreme. So
oh wow,
it's an alternate reality where after she comes out of limbo, she kind of turns away from everyone, and Doctor Strange kind of takes her under her wing and starts training her to become the next Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think I've ever read that one. Sounds awesome.
It's really cool. So I only found this little variant edition where it's one of those action figure variants. I don't know if you guys can see it here on the screen. We're on a little Discord chat, but it's fun. It's a fun little read. You know, I like magic. You know, it's a cool thing about like, what if, you know, she was the next Sorcerer Supreme? You know, that's
and that, I mean, that could be, you know, I think sometimes, you know, Marvel, they'll do a what if comic and they're like, let's just see like how this plays out, like how it's received, you know, like they kind of just test some things. I mean, and we like, that could be something that I would have like no problem in the future if like, you know, for whatever reason they want to like kill Doctor Strange for like a little bit and then have someone take over. Like she would be a great person, you know, to take over for, especially since she's an X-Man. You want to incorporate her in the MCU. You know, obviously I still want Benedict Cumberbatch, and there's plenty of storytelling for him. But like, you know, in the past we've had, you know, what if Jane Foster wields Thor hammer? Now she's female Thor. You know what I mean? Like there's things that have happened in what if comics that have actually come to fruition, and that's an interesting one that I think could.
I completely agree, because I mean she's in Strange Academy, right? So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I haven't read any Strange Academy. Like I've been meaning to buy it. Like there's a Peach Momoko variant cover that I've been eyeing for a while.
It's actually more fun than I expected. I started actually sitting down and reading it, and it's if you like Harry Potter type of stuff, it's actually kind of fun, but more of an X-Men type of feel to it.
Kind of unselling me there.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but
no offense, Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, it's actually better than it sounds, though.
Okay,
because it is characters that you care about, and they're learning how to use their abilities.
Okay, yeah, that's fun.
And it's like they have the ability to tap into magic, and Doctor Strange has got like his teachers that more or less work with him. I said too, it's very X-Men feeling, but with magic.
Huh. Yeah, that's cool. I can dig that.
That's a better comparison than Harry Potter, but it is like a bunch of characters you don't know. You know, there's a few that you do, but they introduce a ton of new characters too. So, if anything, long term, if you're looking for, that's why I think people are going nuts about it. Of like speculator wise, is there so many brand new characters they introduce in the series that people are saying, "Oh my gosh, a comic that's got like 5 or 6 new characters. We haven't seen that since Giant Size X #1 or Young Avengers."
Well, that's why I picked up. What was it that Agents of Atlas comic?
Yeah, same thing on that. Agents of Atlas. Like there's 4 new characters in that book, right?
Yeah, I grabbed that just for the first appearances.
They did the same thing with that Shang-Chi book that came out recently too. They introduced like 4 more different characters as part of his clan.
Interesting.
It's like they're trying to push out a bunch of new characters at Marvel right now, which is kind of cool.
And you know that'll
I think
be
it's
for the movie.
thing. Yeah.
It's also for them to be able to kill people.
That's true, dude. Yeah. So a catastrophic event. Keenan Black just destroys all those new characters when that Null character comes into Earth. All these new characters we developed, well, fine, done.
You got to kill someone off. All right. Yeah. Anybody have one more before we wrap up?
Do you want me to touch on another one?
Sure.
Okay, like that of just like reimaginations of the character, right? From a different reality type of deal.
Sure.
We were talking a little bit about too. Okay. I like the Flashpoint Batman, where it's
yes.
That survived, and then Bruce died, and Martha became the Joker, which was to me one of the most mind-blowing type of things that you could see for an alternate reality, where Flash, you know, messes up the time stream by going back and saving his mom from the Reverse Flash, and comes back to the present, and then everything's in the Flashpoint universe. And the Thomas Wayne Batman he was like that Jason Todd type of Batman, like where he used his money to try to bring out crime in Gotham City just so he can take it out.
Yeah.
It's just so insane. And you know, Martha Wayne was broken by her son Bruce dying, and she became the Joker and kidnapped Two-Face or Harvey Dent's kids. And it was just Thomas Wayne had to save more or less Harvey Dent's kids from Martha Wayne Joker, and it was just such a crazy story, but such a cool reimagination that's now gaining foot. Where they're even sounds like they're going to have Michael Keaton play Thomas Wayne in the Flashpoint movie.
No, he's just playing old man Bruce Wayne. So I don't.
Is that it?
Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing with that, which is really disappointing because this would be so cool to see in live action. You know.
Yeah, dude. Thomas Wayne Batman's pretty epic, I gotta admit.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm glad somebody brought that up.
Yeah. Can I say one other thing that has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but something I saw this week? It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that new Vampires versus the Bronx movie that was on the these Halloween movies?
Excuse me?
No.
Yeah, it's absolutely complete cheese. But the lead actor's name's Jaden Michael. And he's Miles Morales, dude. He is completely 110%. If they could get this kid more or less casted to be Miles Morales, I'd be 110% on board with this kid being Miles Morales. It's like me and Kayla were watching it the other night, and I go, who does that remind you of, Kayla? And she's I don't know, what do you think? I'm going, isn't he Miles Morales if they ever had to choose a Miles Morales actor? She goes, yeah, you're right. This kid's totally Miles Morales. Just the way that his personality in the movie is, or the character, it's 110% would be a great pick for Miles Morales. So if you get a chance to check it out, just watch it, and just from the perspective of don't worry about how lame the movie is, because the movie is it's totally, just lame fun. Do you know what I mean?
Like a B movie,
more or less. Yeah, it's a B-rated movie, pretty much. It's more or less about where these vampires come into the Bronx to try to buy property and try to convert, more or less take over the city and become their new vampire home. But and then the people of the Bronx have to, these three kids, kind of like it's a little bit of Stranger Things mixed with Blade. Type of feel. They reference
get out of my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's funny too because they even do their training of how to fight vampires by watching the Blade movie in the movie. Pretty hilarious.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you'd probably appreciate it, Blade. It's pretty campy fun. But
why? Because my name is Blade.
No, just because like that. I know you love the Blade movie.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love Blade. How can I?
Yeah, and your name is Blade. So yes, it is because your name is Blade.
How can I not love Blade? Oh man!
But speaking of casting stuff,
yes.
How do you guys feel about? I know we're getting off topic and we're probably running out of time. But how do you feel about the whole what's her name saying, "Oh no, I'm not She-Hulk," after Mark Ruffalo was like, "Oh, congratulations
to the family."
To the family. Are they keeping this under? Are they trying to be "Oh, just pretend you're not," because we're trying to keep everything under wraps? Because they also said that the Sony stuff wasn't real about the Electro being casted and Benedict Cumberbatch.
They didn't say the.
But who's the company that did she come out publicly and say she wasn't, or was it
she
just
came out and
said that site that said that, right?
No, she came out and said those rumors aren't true.
Okay,
that I'm not playing.
But it wasn't a lot of reliable sources reported her being cast as She-Hulk. So I don't understand what happened unless the ink wasn't dry and the deal fell through.
Yeah,
or they want her to just keep quiet.
Because it's weird because it's already reported. So why go back on it?
But the same thing happened with Sony. The whole Benedict Cumberbatch and the Electro being in the next Spider-Man movie. They're saying that all those casting rumors, they're not true. Don't listen to them. A bunch of reliable sources said the same. Said that was.
I thought they were only not confirming Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I thought it was not Jamie Foxx.
No, from what I don't know what I read, it said that all the recent rumors regarding the Spider-Man 3 castings were not.
Well, I did not see any reliable source report the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire thing.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
No reliable website reported that. It was only WeGotThisCovered.com, which, by the way, if you get your news from somewhere like that, go somewhere else. If they're reporting it, it does not matter. And there's lots of websites like that. You gotta wait till. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, IGN, garbage website.
To an extent, but yeah,
they post an article every day that just drives me crazy.
They have their own issues. But just be careful where you're getting these rumors of casting, because if Superhero Hype's not reporting it, or I don't want to say Vanity Fair, but I can't think of reliable sources off the top of my head right now. Just be careful where you're getting your pop culture news from.
Yeah, and make sure it's like multiple sources too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because some of those places could be reporting something valid, but if they're the only one saying it, then probably not true. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if Bleeding Cool News says it, it's probably only them. Yeah, it's probably not accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll start seeing the big networks if it's legit too, like NBC and Fox and ABC.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They'll start, reporting it too as well if it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's about just all the time we have for today. That was a very fun episode, and we appreciate you all taking the time to listen. If you did enjoy it, tell your friends about it, share it on social media. We're on Nightcap Chat, and just another reminder, if you have an idea for an episode topic, shoot us a message on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Nightcap Chat on Facebook and Twitter, and at Nightcap_chat on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, or if you guys want to just send us questions and we'll just answer.
Yes.
That'd be fun episode.
We will answer.
From the fans.
We'll answer any appropriate questions that you have.
Yeah.
We're definitely open to anything like that as well. Ken?
Yeah, thank you guys once again for listening. It's this is Ken at Drawn to Comics, and you can find us in downtown Glendale at Drawn to Comics at 58th Avenue in Glendale, and also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and at drawntocomics.com. Thank you guys for all your support too.
And you can catch me on Twitch at Tales of Lance, and on Instagram and Twitter at Tales of Lance. I haven't been streaming a lot lately, and I'm moving. My wife just gave birth to our first baby, so everything's kind of crazy. So for those of you who have been coming on and watching my past broadcasts and maybe not being able to catch me, and I know I'm not streaming on the schedule I'm supposed to be, I'm sorry, but please bear with me, and I'm going to get back to the grind in my schedule soon enough.
I thank you all for listening. We love you. Be safe, and we will catch you all next week.
Have a good week.
Thank you.